I would like to first set the broader context for this workshop. I mean, all of us recognize that health worldwide tends to be the responsibility of the government. How they deliver it could be in different formats, privatize it or give it as a national service. But ultimately, the government is responsible for the health of its citizens. And then with the demographic changes taking place in the world, health is becoming a center stage issue pretty much all over the world. In many ways, much more sharper focus in the richer economies, like US or in Europe. And the same has been the situation with India as well. Being a country which accounts for almost a sixth of the global population, with a significant amount of under fives, and being a signatory of the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, and recognizing that a lot has to be done for India to reach the goals by 2015, because I think what India does will determine the whole global MDG, given the weightage of the problem of the population that we have. So given all this, I think there has also been a very strong focus by the government itself onto the whole healthcare scenario. And in the 12th plan, promises have been made that they would almost double the outlay for the healthcare. So we recognize that, I think from big picture point of view, we are all at a very transformative period. I think a lot of transformation has to happen. There is a growing commitment from the leadership, from the government, etc., to make that happen. So I think that the time is ripe for this to happen. So in this context, when SIPS approached us saying that can we do something to move this forward in the realm of healthcare, we honestly told our limitations. Being a single specialty eye hospital, we said that there is not much that we can do to transform or give ideas for transforming healthcare, but certainly we could make a beginning in eye care. And we proposed that the RIOs and the teaching institutions, which are at in some way the leadership or the game-defining role, within eye care, I said if they could come and we could work together, we can figure out how things can improve. So that is how this particular workshop got seeded and then got designed. So when we talk of transformation, or more specifically what Mr. Chakrapani mentioned, how do you improve service, the public service or eye care service in our context? All of us recognize that we need resources, of this whole list, and there could be more to it. We need people, we need equipment, infrastructure, supplies, patients, systems to work, and certain policies to guide the whole process. And this is something that is common to everyone, whether you are in the public, private, joint sector, PPP, whatever you say, everybody needs to have resources to perform. But then we find varying levels of outcomes, whether within the public sector or between public and private. And then what really changes that is what I would say the enabling environment. So it's not adequate to have the staff, but then you need to have them with the right competencies, skills, the right mix, the right numbers. So that is one. How do you create that enabling environment? Or if it is equipment, you want to make sure that everything is functioning well, you have them the right quantity, they are current in terms of technology, that has to be in place. And if it's infrastructure, the ambience, the cleanliness, the maintenance of the building and the facilities, supplies, do we have the supplies when you want them? Is it always available, whether it is medication or intraocular lens or sutures? Do we have a steady flow of patients? Because ultimately performance depends completely on the inflow of patients. Do we have an adequate number of them? Do we have the systems that can be continually improved, so that we continue to do the work with excellence and with quality? And are the policies, are they relevant? Now, because when everything changes, if the policies don't change, then they lose relevance. No? So are we able to review and change them periodically? So to me, this set is what creates an enabling environment. And then this is what, in my mind, determines how the resources are used, and then ultimately what performance comes out of it. And then in a way, it is not rocket science. Now, basically, we have demand, which is the patient or the, from a public health perspective, the mandate as to what needs to be done. We have the hospital resources and some systems in place which produces some output. So when we talk about improving this, we really want to make sure that we're able to continually increase the demand and manage its, how it comes to the hospital. In a way, it reflects the community's need and the problem. And then how we continually improve the hospital resources and systems. Now, once we master this part of it, one can recognize that the output continues to grow and increase. So these next 2 days, today and tomorrow, we have pretty much, we spent a lot of time thinking through this as to how do we structure this time so that we make real progress in this direction. So we have come up with about 6 broad modules. I'll run through the modules later. But we thought we should have some idea about how do we build institution. Because ultimately, that's how we put together the people, the resources, and the system is what determines how things work. And then what are the building blocks of the building institution? How do we build patient volumes? Okay, some of us may feel that we have too many patients already. Do we need more patients? No, but that's one perspective. But I think we need to also, someone's got a responsibility that even if we are busy, we are not still solving the problem. No, so only when the patients are not there in the community who need care, we can say that we have enough load. How do we provide good care for the patients? No, where we talk about, when we say good care, we talk of efficiency, that is, in terms of time taken, in terms of cost spent, as well as the outcome in terms of quality. And then how do we get the best out of the people? So these would be the broad areas covered in the workshop. And then we have a number of sessions. And then each session, the way we have designed them is to have 1 or 2 presentations. Which would give probably what may be considered to be better practice. I wouldn't want to use the word best practice. I don't think it exists because always in progress. There could be some question and answers relating to the presentations. Then we would spend most of the time on a panel discussion. Where we really expect a lot of the issues to come out. Going back to the enabling environment, what are the issues that you have? And I personally would be quite happy of this coming in any format. Now, it could come out as a frustration and complaint, that is fine. It could come as a suggestion or a thoughtful recommendation. But I think what's important is that those issues are surfaced, because what we expect to do is at the end of each session, at the end of the panel, we'll have a few people capturing this dialogue as it happens and summarize them into this, what I'm calling as transformation ideas, which to me should fall into 2 broad categories. There will be a number of things that I think you sitting here will be able to implement on your own. Talking nicely to a patient, you don't require any policy or any permission. That is completely internal operational. So there will be a number of things like that which you will be able to implement on your own without any other input. Some will be very clear, some would be a little bit debatable. And there will be certain things which will require a policy change. And there could be a number of them. This continuous transfer business, the ratio between staff or creating a post, those things we recognize are not within the power of an individual leader within the head of a department. So there could be some policy changes. So what we're hoping is that what can be changed by yourself, we would expect that at the end of the workshop, you would go back and give it a try as applicable in your setting. And then the policy changes, if you can crystallize concretely, we have those who can enable that to happen, and we have SIPS as an organization which is mandated to make that happen. No? So we would park it with them and then pursue that. And then we certainly are hoping this to be a two-way discussion. I think beyond this inaugural session, which is one way, I would expect every other session to have a lot of dialogue as we go along. In terms of the details, soon after this we will do a photo session and then get back to the regular meeting, which will open with what we're calling as a building organization. There'll be a couple of presentations, as I mentioned. We would also feedback. We got some data from the RIOs that we got through a survey. We will project those figures, and then we could have a panel discussion to take that forward. And there'll be a hospital tour that will be for about an hour and a half or so. You'll be visiting our outpatient facility and the inpatient facility. Just to give a 30-second intro to that tour, the Madurai facility came up almost 30-odd years back, 34 years back. So the outpatient facility is undergoing a major renovation. So when you go, you'll find a lot of work happening. Today we see about 2,000 patients in that place. It's very cramped and very difficult. So we are remodeling it so that it can accommodate about 3,000 patients a year. We are kind of modeling it towards that. And the inpatient block is much newer, less than a year old. Then after that, the tour will happen soon after lunch. Then we have in the last session for today would be how do we build patient volumes. Now, again, we would have a couple of presentations relating to that. And after that, we will drive down to Oro Lab, which is about 5-6 kilometers from here, for a tour of that place. And hopefully we'll have some informal but structured discussions, followed by dinner also in the Oro Lab premises. Tomorrow we will have one module on managing people, one on how do we provide, we would have one, I didn't put it here. There's another module here on how do we provide the services more efficiently, followed by the last session on how do we ensure quality. And then in the last valedictory session, we would summarize the recommendations. And in fact, this would happen at every session. And then this will be like a consolidated summary, because at the session level, there'll be a lot of duplications, all the issues will be coming up there. Post-workshop, there will certainly be a set of policy recommendations, a workshop report as is common. And then there will be, like Mr. Chakrapani mentioned, there would be sparing no efforts to make sure that those policy recommendations do get acted upon at the appropriate level, at the state level or at the center level. So I once again welcome you all to this workshop, and hope that we have a very, very productive time. Thank you very much.